What's up, everybody? Welcome to We're Offended, You're Offended. I'm Kim. This is Tyler, and it is Hump Day. Wow, chicka, wow, wow. So thank you, everybody, for listening, who is a returning listener, and anybody who's just stopping by to check us out for the first time. Welcome, and we appreciate it. Hopefully, you'll enjoy some listening to some of the things that we have to say. And apparently, I can't speak today. So anyway, so Tyler, what do we have on the docket today?
Okay, so we have, I guess, so for anyone that doesn't know, if you don't, I'd be quite surprised. It's making news everywhere of the trucker convoy that started in BC and is making all its way to Ottawa. There's multiple convoys, and their final destination is nation's capital, which is Ottawa. And so they're looking. My understanding has been, actually, we have some information from them, but according to the money that they raised, $4.6 million
Isn't that crazy?
is being held by GoFundMe. So GoFundMe has put a stop to the money. And we'll get into it. And then we have an interesting letter out of Israel from one of their head. He's a immunologist that actually worked with the Israeli government to try and, I guess, with their response to COVID, and he writes quite a scathing open letter. So yeah, before we get into that, so of course you can always check us out. We're on YouTube, or on Rumble and Spotify. Of course, we have a Facebook group. Everything else, share the show with your friends if you like it. Leave a thumbs up. Of course, we'd love to hear your everyone's opinion. Yeah. You can, of course, I guess you could support us on PayPal or fucking whatever. Okay, with that. All right, let's get into this first one. So this is just a quick little thing. So GoFundMe confirms the Trucker Freedom Convoy funds are being held until a clear plan is revealed. So GoFundMe has confirmed it is holding the funds in the Freedom Convoy fundraiser until a clear plan about how the funds will be spent is presented.
I thought it was already kind of given, like it was supposed to go towards like the truckers for fuel and stuff like that for the cost for their round trip.
Yeah, so they say once a withdrawal plan is provided by the organizer, our team is on standby to safely and quickly deliver the funds. Okay, so from the start, they have said that. Actually, we have directly a link to their GoFundMe, which is boasting a whopping almost $4.9 million.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know how anybody, like, it doesn't make sense to me how they're holding it though. Like GoFundMe is supposed to be a thing where people can, get money. People can donate money to them. I don't understand how this organization or whatever can just be like, nah, we're going to hold on to it until you can tell me what you're actually going to do with it. That's not their money.
No, it's not, and it's interesting that they kind of put this roadblock in place. But so on the GoFundMe, the description is quite frank, and it just says, so we are a peaceful country that has helped protect nations across the globe from tyrannical governments who oppress their people, and now it seems it is happening here. We are taking our fight to the doorsteps of our federal government and demanding that they cease all mandates against its people. Small businesses are being destroyed, homes are being destroyed, and people are being mistreated and denied fundamental necessities to survive. It's our duty as Canadians to put an end to this, I assume to these mandates, It is imperative that this happens because if we don't, our country will no longer be the country we have come to love. We are doing this for our future generations and to regain our lives back. And they say exactly what they're looking to use it for. We are asking for donations to help with the cost of fuel first and hopefully food and lodging to help ease the pressures of this arduous task. So they just said what they're looking at doing with the funds.
Well, right?
So it just seems really interesting that GoFundMe. Well, I'm assuming some type of pressure was put on the GoFundMe website to try to make this difficult.
Oh,
When you
100%.
have nearly 20,000 people that have donated, and so I've driven these convoys like it's like, and we brought it up before with CBC saying that, oh, it's dozens, oh, it's just a couple dozen trucks, oh, it's a couple hundred. No, just the one convoy that started in BC and that's working its way, or that's working its way east. It was hundreds. That's just one. There's ones that are coming out of Nova Scotia. There's ones that are well, there's videos all over in Huron. The place was clogged shut with the amount of vehicles.
There are literally lots of, like, hundreds or thousands of trucks that are coming from the United States to meet these truckers in Ottawa. And the ones that can't cross the border, they are going to stay at the border and block up the border in support. But
Yeah, it's
sorry, I was just going to say with that, today it was actually passing through Winnipeg, or through Headingley, I should say. And I had actually gone to see the one that's been coming from BC. And I have to tell you guys, oh my God, it was remarkable. I literally had chills. The amount of people that were there, not only on the side of the road, but the amount of people that are in this convoy. It literally, like, to anybody who's from Winnipeg or knows Headingley, like when you come from the perimeter, it went all the way through, way outside Headingley. Like, it was just bumper to bumper. It was remarkable to see.
Yeah. So yeah, it's and this is kind of the crazy thing, and you're seeing well, I should say I'm seeing posts all over, on Twitter, from, oh, how weird, our transportation minister, the same person that has said that, well, we need to do this because our biggest threat to our supply chain is COVID. And so Omar Algebra, it was just really, really interesting that he ended up quote tweeting. See if I could find it. I didn't. So this Linda Maskell. So she's a strategist, former political advisor, first aficionado, liberal, and so Mr. Algebra ended up liking her tweet, and her tweet says, 90% of the trucker convoy are vaxxed and can drive anywhere. The United States will not allow unvaxxed drivers to cross the border. Does not matter what the Canadian regulation is.
What does that have to do with anything if 90% of them are vaxxed or not? It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with the mandates that they're fighting and our freedoms.
And this is what I find crazy. So I'll continue. So she says, this Lindsay Maskell, anti-vaxxers are using food supply chain fear to create a wedge. We may have a food cost issue. We won't have a supply issue. All right. In 2018, after storms, we also had limited grapes. I don't understand the point that she's trying to make. With a case surge, all workplaces were impacted, but returning to normal. No. Look at food prices in the far north, so you don't sound stupid. It hasn't changed. Conservative MPs are all over this. Nope. Nope. Mr. O'Toole, he fully supported the lockdowns. He was totally in support of it. So I don't know what you're saying. We shouldn't make public policy for a sliver of the population that can negatively affect everyone else.
Oh, was that the sliver I seen today of thousands of vehicles? Okay.
And then number 10, there's enough to be nervous about with COVID. Hospital capacity, mental health, etc. Don't drive unnecessary fear. To which I responded, you missed the point. It's about government forcing something. It's about mandates. But please, keep being a waste of taxpayer money and blaming individuals instead of holding government to account. Useless as always. And hashtag defund Parliament and, of course, Truckers for Freedom. It's incredible. And I'll always say this. It is not the individual's fault. It is never the individual's fault. Hold on. Let me reel that back in a bit. It is the individual's choice to do what they decide to do. And I'm seeing are, of course, Trudeau put out another fantastic tweet saying, "Get vaccinated, get boosted. It's time."
Oh my God.
So it's really weird because the people that are responding were saying, I can't get it. And even I ended up responding saying, I don't remember when government got to decide what happens between you and your doctor. I didn't know a drama teacher is allowed to give medical advice.
Apparently.
I don't understand it. I'm really trying to. Okay, so from the start, this has been turning neighbor on neighbor. When this all first happened, government did not take the steps. They didn't secure the proper equipment. They then, in their failure to acquire supplies, started locking down its own citizens. My tax dollars pay for you to make sure that our healthcare system functions. And I'll say this. Hospitals only get funding on what is needed. So let me break that down a little bit. So they have to look at what's happening in order to allocate funds to that certain sector. What has the most impact? Do you think they have, I don't know, do you think they have like a surplus of orthopedic surgeons? No. They have just as much as they absolutely need, and in order, what's most cost effective. So everyone I know kind of bitches about in the United States, like, oh, well, everything's for profit, it's all for profit. Like that's a whole system. And I'll say, yeah, it a lot of the times it's not. But I understand with the risk, or I shouldn't say the risk, with the amount of money that is pumped through hospitals, you would at least expect good service. If you are spending $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 in order for someone to save your life, there's some expectation there. So
I remember.
already,
Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say that. So if something doesn't have a lot of value, like, and our hospitals are already overrun as it is. This is long before COVID was a thing. Our hospitals never were able to absorb any type of spike. They couldn't do it. So this isn't the first time something like this, even a bad flu season, puts our hospitals at risk.
Yep.
Because they just go with what the status quo is. Okay, well, in Manitoba, we broke this all down of how many hospital beds are in each province. And so if Winnipeg has 150 beds, because that's what they think they'll need, okay, then they're not going to suddenly invest in another 500 for an acute spike.
Correct.
They'll just, okay, well, we have 150 beds, and that's what we operate with, because it's not profitable. It costs too much money. So it's incredible to see people blaming people. Oh, well, these 90% are they're vaccinated. They could work, but they choose not to. Well, why aren't the servants bringing me my food? Why don't you? So this is like in the Hunger Games, in the capital city, where where the elites are all housed, and they expect things to be brought to them. All the, was it 13 other districts? 13 or 9? Maybe I'm getting movies mixed up.
No, I think it was 13.
So, isn't that incredible? Instead of someone saying, yeah, we should have that freedom, especially when there's something with a risk. People are talking about, the one lady had brought up, my husband got the vaccine, and now he is suffering from, he suffers from pericarditis,
Okay.
where it feels like, he says, it feels like he's getting stabbed in the heart.
Oh my God. That sounds pleasant.
Yeah. And for what? What, because government says so? Government says, unless you do this, you don't have a job. And actually, there was just reports just came out today. Quebec in its inferior wisdom, Quebec is such a shitty province. Like, I rag on Manitoba, I rag on Saskatchewan. Like, okay, if people understood how much I hate Saskatchewan, that I wish that whole province was just gone. And to be fair, Manitoba, you're not that far behind. But Quebec, I think, is taking the number one spot for the stupid shit its government does. So, Quebec has said, big box stores, you need to show proof of ID. Unless it's for groceries or prescriptions.
What?
Yeah. So, you want to go and buy something? Nope, need to show proof of ID.
ID or the vaccine? Well, mind you, either one's retarded.
Your vaccine ID. So that you had a medical procedure done. So this is why, like, this is idiotic. Our government's already saying, oh, our cases have already spiked and they're falling off. They're falling off harder than something that falls really hard. I don't know. How bad a or how bad a crackhead drops for a fucking dick to get another line of blow.
There you go.
No. There. Okay. Yeah. Bad reference, but I don't give a shit. I'm making a fucking point. But it's incredible. Cases are dropping. The weird thing is they keep saying the hospitals are overrun. They're beyond capacity. But okay. But so I'll say you had 2 years to do something about this. No. What did you do? You fired nurses and doctors, right? Right, Quebec? Fired 3,000 nurses and doctors. Fired teachers. You enacted more discriminatory policies. It's incredible to see how fucked up Quebec is. Like, Francois Lefaggot. Oh, I mean, oops. How do you say his name? How the fuck do you say it, France?
I don't know.
Francois. Yeah, that's sorry. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, him. it's incredible to see a true dictator come out. Someone that's supposed to be, supporting their community. And then to say, oh, unless you have this piece of ID, you're not allowed to come in. So what Walmart has been forced to do is if someone is there to get a prescription, they are escorted by security to get their prescription and leave.
What the hell? So prescriptions and groceries, those are considered necessities. So they'll allow you to do that without showing your proof of vaccine. But yet clothes and shoes and stuff like that, I guess that's not a necessity. So you need to show stuff for that.
Yeah, it's unfucking believable. It is truly unbelievable how discriminatory it is. And again, they're not talking about, hey, truckers don't want to be vaccinated. No, they're done with the mandates.
Yeah, they've said it multiple times. 90% of them already are. It's not just the other 10% that are crossing the country right now. Nay. It is vaccinated and unvaccinated are joining forces to say enough is enough.
Yeah, they're going to turn into the vaccine-tron or something. I don't know.
Vaxitron. There you go.
Yeah, that's much better than what I thought of. But I'll say, this is the thing that governments are scared of the most. This is why they will turn neighbor on neighbor. They will say, 10%, they're the reason why you can't do X, Y, and Z. Because, so the biggest problem that we've seen with like the Black Lives Matter thing is when the right and the left joined sides. When they both locked arms and said, the government is bullshit. That is the biggest thing governments are afraid of. And it's the audacity for a government to say, you need to shut up and comply. So, I'm sorry, last I checked, I pay you. You don't pay me. Governments absolutely fear the populace speaking out and saying something. Enough is enough. Honestly, please, people, you gotta wake up. Vote out the fucking people that have taken your livelihoods from you. Not your neighbors. It wasn't your neighbor that forced you to shut down your business. And if you opened up your business and said, I will comply, then good. I hope you lose your business. I hope you do, because you ended up to side with the state. You were allowed yourself to become a puppet when people were championing and saying, leave small mom and pop restaurants alone. Leave small stores alone. Everything should be opened up, not funneling it into fucking Walmart and Amazon and Canadian Tire, where the top 1% inflated their wealth by trillions. Trillions. But no, your neighbor did this to you. Your neighbor made these these unconstitutional decrees. These are decrees. And it's amazing to see the police lick the boot. It's incredible to see people that spineless, that cowardly, that they would bend for the state. They would turn on their neighbors. I phoned Dr. Rosen. I was going to ask him, hey, what about this treatment you guys are now speaking of? And the voicemail that I got was, if you would like to report a private citizen for breaking COVID restrictions, press 1. If you would like to report a business, press 2.
It's so gross.
What a fucking slimy snake. That bald fuck. Reminds me of Jack Murphy. The fucking bald head. I bet he probably gets fucked in the ass by his girlfriend's boyfriend too.
Yeah, it's a high possibility. Think he's making a buck off that? I know
Oh,
I wouldn't
he's
want to
making a
watch it.
buck. He's making a buck off Pfizer. That's for damn sure.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, sorry. What did you want to say?
I don't even remember. And well, I do, but it's so long past already. It's I'm not going to go all the way back.
Oh no, what?
No, I was just going to say like when we're talking about how people not caring and stuff like that and about the surgeries and stuff like I know a friend of mine in Germany when she had to go in to get her wisdom teeth taken out, she was in the hospital for a week because it was considered a major surgery.
Yeah.
Now you literally have like gallbladders removed, you have organs that are removed, and you're like in and out in a day. They're just like, Kate, get out, because,
Yeah.
there's the lack of beds. You have to make sure that there's enough beds. So people are just literally just, they go for major surgeries and then they're hold the door open for them. Okay, bye, get out. Where in
So
Germany, they had actually cared about their people and wanted to make sure that there's no infection, that they were good before they sent them home. Like it's just it
yeah.
a totally different healthcare system. You know what I mean?
Well, it's when here you have 15 minutes to talk with your doctor, if that.
Oh,
15 minutes.
yeah, you got 15 and you can only list off the top 2 or 3 things that are bothering you or that's going on. Like
Yeah.
and that's the funny thing. Okay, say I go in there and I'm complaining about some stomach issues and I've been really gassy lately and so I got this like pain in my back. No. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, you probably have your acid reflux is acting up here. Just up your medication and away you go. Okay, bye. But I wasn't able to talk about all the other symptoms that I'm having. I just had to talk about the first 3.
Yeah.
And those other symptoms could have been the detrimental thing to, we should send you for cancer testing, or we should go send you for an MRI or a CAT scan or something. You know what I mean? Like, see what's going on. Well, no, you got to hurry up, quick, in and out.
Yeah. Like it's no joke. So you're yeah, like it's 15 minutes. You have 15 minutes not to ask a doctor a question, not to say, "Hey, I'm curious about this. I have some concerns about this. Can you maybe, sit down and talk with me about this?" Yeah, you got 5 minutes. What the
Yeah.
dude? I can talk to myself for 5 minutes. Especially if I'm trying to make a point, I'm trying to describe something, I'm trying to give information.
Yeah.
Or at least try to rationalize, hey, this is where I'm coming from. Tell me that I'm wrong or that I'm right. And or at the very least, I'm not sure. I'll look into that for you and I'll get back to you.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I
Like
noticed too about a lot of the young doctors. Like at my doctor's office, I'm not going to say where I go, but at my doctor's office, when I've gone in and they've had, I don't know, interns or just new doctors, whatever. They don't have a home yet. So they go there for a while. I've had those people, yes, I said it, those people. I've had those people actually take more time to have a conversation with you and potentially send you for proper testing and stuff like that and actually listen to what you have to say. They're actually genuinely concerned. They're new and all the people who've been around for a long time, well, what happens? Money gets to them, greed gets to them. They just like go, 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 go. Like, oh, here's a prescription, here's this, here's that, da 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 da. Because they get paid for everything. They get little kickbacks. They get kickbacks from the pharmaceutical industries. Plus, they book themselves so full because, well, X amount of patients means X amount of dollars. So they got to hurry up. And people are being undertreated. They're not being diagnosed properly, or they have to make multiple visits, miss multiple times at work or whatever, just to sit there and say, okay, remember when I was in last time and I told you about these 3
yeah.
things? Well, okay, so I already told you that. So shit, I just told you 1. Okay, I got 2 more. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
it's like the monkey's paw. It's like it's like you get 3 wishes from the monkey's paw, but something really bad happens. Like it twists like your it like twists your wish. So it's
yeah,
like, hey doctor, I have a back pain. Okay, well not actually talking about the back pain is actually showing that that you have something is messed up with your foot. So it's like, okay, well, we're going to deal with your back, but it's actually not doing what you're looking to correct. It's just, oh, your back hurts. Here, take some Advil. That's all you can do for it. Like, but no, I've done that already, and I'm just masking it. I'm not fixing the issue. I'm just masking it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what's your next problem? But But this is the governments are terrified of when the people actually unite to say, "Hey, I don't give a fuck. I honestly, I don't care. I don't care if you're vaccinated or not. I couldn't care less." But it's interesting that its government is so interested in what you do more than you're interested yourself.
Yeah. Well, and that's the funny thing too, because like with this whole thing, with this whole convoy, okay, unless you actually like dig for the information, like you actually have to dig for it. There's some stuff like on Facebook and stuff like that, but they underplay everything. You know, they there's just a few dozen. Oh, there's like 100 or so. Like no big, just a small sliver of people, but they completely mask over the actual meaning behind the convoy. Plus, on top of that, they completely hide the actual size of it. They don't talk about the fact that there's literally trucks coming up from the United States to meet to meet Canadians in Ottawa to help protest this stuff. Americans. There's American truck drivers that are coming to show support because they see what's happening. You know, and it's just they're going to underplay it because they don't want people to know about it. It's scary. You know, it's because if people know about it, the more people are going to band together. They're not going to promote this. Oh, hell no. And I can guarantee you, freaking Trudeau is going to be on the first plane out of there before they even get there. He won't be there.
Well, okay, so apparently there's been rumblings that they're actually looking at getting the military involved. I don't know for what. But I would
the military to like that the government is trying to get the military involved, or that they're going to be there to help.
I guess to help the government probably stop these trucks.
Oh Jesus.
That's my rumblings, and you know, I think the government doesn't realize what the military actually stands for. They're quite patriotic. I think they're probably some of the most patriotic. Not the generals, not the higher ups that get charged with molesting people and hiding it. Not those ones. The ones that are doing the grunt work, the workers, the men and the women doing the work. That's very different. Those people are they want to support, you know, that charter in which we all aspire, you know, should aspire to try to be to uphold.
Yeah. There's been videos I've seen of cops who work in Ottawa, and they're literally putting out videos like, we can't wait for the truckers to get here. We're going to be here. Can't wait to see you guys, and we're standing with you.
Yeah. But no, it's, you know, again, it's the fear. But you know what? Stop turning on your neighbor. Please.
Yep.
Now, you know, I would love to hear. What have you guys noticed in terms of coverage? Have you been able to see, like, I seen one news article saying that they're actually out protesting the bad road conditions in BC.
Yes.
Nope, not at all. But cool. I like your opinion. Although if I wanted your opinion, I'd ask for it. CBC.
They're gonna go all the way to Ottawa, actually, just to be like, our roads suck.
Yeah,
do something.
Which the federal government doesn't really have much say in provincial matters, unless they say, "Hey, we'll give you $1 billion, Doug Ford, to create this app so that we could spy on Canadians."
Ugh, yeah. That was in our last episode. FYI to anybody who's new here and didn't hear last episode.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get to this this next article, or this letter. Sorry, it's a letter from Ehud Qimron. Ehud Qimron. And Who is this nobody that's speaking out in Tel Aviv, which Israel has the highest vaccination rate in the world?
Okay.
In fact, they're on their fourth booster. And remember saying, like, when are you going to be when are you going to be fully vaccinated?
Never.
Like, your first shot, second, third, fourth, seventh, eighth, ninth. How many masks is enough? Oh, now they recommend. No. You have to wear 2 masks. But
Sure do.
but then, okay, sure, okay. I don't know. All right, so this crackpot nobody of a doctor, and who is he? He is the professor, or Professor Ehud Qimron, is head of the Department of Microbiology and Immunology at the Tel Aviv University, and one of the leading Israeli immunologists. So he has written an open letter sharply criticizing the Israeli and indeed global management of the coronavirus pandemic. So, all right, so the letter starts. So, Ministry of Health, it's time to admit failure. And so this is all translated. So if things sound a little wonky, it's translated. In the end, the truth will always be revealed, and the truth about coronavirus policy is beginning to be revealed. When the destructive concepts collapse one by one, there is nothing left but to tell the expert who led the management of the pandemic, "We told you so." 2 years late, you finally realize that a respiratory virus cannot be defeated, which was talked about. Dr. Robert Malone, Dr. Peter McCullough, the two that were seen as crackpot conspiracies that were anti-vaxxers. Articles, or actually, the U.S. government. I haven't been able to see the Canadian government because I haven't seen too many Canadian doctors speaking out. There have been some, but it's very, very sparse. That they actively worked to smear these doctors.
Oh,
Smear
yeah. Smear
Not
them,
refute
get
the
rid of
point.
them, everything.
Yeah, to deplatform, to deperson them. And they brought this up saying this is a respiratory virus. You can't defeat it.
Yeah. But, that's medical misinformation. And the funny thing is, to anybody, again, who is new or doesn't know this, we've actually had a podcast of ours being taken down because we've mentioned the name He Who Shall Not Be Named Malone. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, so that a respiratory virus cannot be defeated and that any such attempt is doomed to fail. You do not admit it because you have admitted almost no mistake in the last 2 years. But in retrospect, it is clear that you have failed miserably in almost all of your actions, and even the media is already having a hard time covering your shame. So again, this is a head of microbiology and immunology. So everyone, I think he's got some skin in the game, or at least some knowledge in the game. You refuse to admit that the infection comes in waves that fade by themselves, despite years of observations and scientific knowledge. You insisted on attributing every decline of a wave solely to your actions. And so through false propaganda, you overcame the plague. And again, you defeated it. And again, and again, and again. You refuse to admit the mass testing is ineffective, despite your own contingencies plans explicitly stating so. And this is the Pandemic Influenza Health System Preparedness Plan. So he's citing their own information. You got an argument when you can use your adversary's information against them.
Right? Even the page yet.
Yeah. You refuse to admit that recovery is more protective than a vaccine, despite previous knowledge and observations showing that non-recovered vaccinated people are more likely to be infected than recovered people. You refuse to admit that the vaccinated are contagious, despite the observations. Based on this, You hoped to achieve herd immunity by vaccination, and you failed in that as well. You insisted on ignoring the fact that the disease is dozens of times more dangerous for risk groups and older adults than for young people who are not in risk groups, despite the knowledge that came from China as early as 2020. You refused to adopt the Barrington Declaration, signed by more than 60,000 scientists and medical professionals, or other common sense programs. You chose to ridicule, slander, distort, and discredit them. Instead of the right programs and people, you have chosen professionals who lack relevant training for pandemic management, i.e., physicists as chief government advisors, veterinarians, security officers, media personnel, and so on. You have not set up an effective system for reporting side effects from the vaccine, and reports on side effects have been deleted from your Facebook page. Doctors avoid linking side effects to the vaccine, lest you persecute them as you did with some of their colleagues. You have ignored many reports of changes in menstrual intensity and menstrual cycle times. You hid data that allows for objective and proper research. For example, you removed the data on passengers at Ben Gurion Airport. Instead, you chose to publish non-objective articles together with senior Pfizer executives on the effectiveness and safety of vaccines. That is crazy. There's more. But, like, again, sounds like this guy is, saying, hey, the decisions that you took weren't in the public's best interest. Again,
yeah, just a little bit.
Hearing this, you could say that about any. You could say that about Canada. You could say that about the United States. You could say that about the UK. You could say the exact same things about Australia. This could literally go to any country. And
yeah,
honestly, I seriously thought of changing this to say like this was a top doctor in Canada saying this to the Trudeau government and saying this to Theresa Tam. And then revealing, actually, no, this was in Tel Aviv, in Israel, the highest vaccination rate in all of the world. All right, so irreversible damage to trust. And I've brought this up. The biggest thing that this has done is actually hurt science. Hurts the study of science because now people do not... Expert now has a different meaning than what it did. However, from the heights of your hubris, you have also ignored the fact that in the end, the truth will be revealed. And it begins to be revealed. The truth is that you have brought the public's trust in you to an unprecedented low. You have eroded your status as a source of authority. The truth is that you have burned hundreds of billions of shekels to no avail for publishing intimidation, for ineffective tests, for destructive lockdowns, and for disrupting the routine of life in the last 2 years. You have destroyed the education of our children and their future. You make children feel guilty, scared, smoke, drink, get addicted, drop out, and quarrel, as school principals around the country attest. You have harmed livelihoods, the economy, human rights, mental health, and physical health. You slander colleagues who did not surrender to you. You turned the people against each other, divided society, and polarized the discourse. You branded, without any scientific basis, people who choose not to get vaccinated as enemies of the public and as spreaders of disease. You promote, in an unprecedented way, a draconian policy of discrimination, denial of rights, and selection of people, including children, for the medical choice. A selection that lacks any epidemiological justification. So again, you could put this in you could say those exact same things to any of our quote-unquote health officials that were caught on mic saying things like, I don't even know why I bring these papers. I just say what they want me to say.
Oh.
Hey, doctor. Can you help me with my foot? I don't know. I'll find some information. I'll make up some. Trudeau, what do you do to someone's foot? I don't know. Cut it off. Or sorry, he would probably take the ball gag out of his mouth, get his wife's butt plug out of him, and go, I don't know, and stick it back in. Cut it off. Like, this it's unbelievable. Okay, so when you compare the destructive policies you are pursuing with the same policies of some other countries, you can clearly see that the destruction you have caused has only added victims beyond the vulnerable to the virus. The economy you ruined, the unemployed you caused, and the children whose education you destroyed. They are the surplus victims as a result of your own actions only. And I brought this up too. I brought this up actually long before we started this podcast. Was the knock-on effect of this is going to be not felt in months. It's going to be in years, if not generations.
Unfortunately, yeah.
You are not going to understand. You won't see the direct impact of almost any and all types of abuse, drug abuse, alcohol abuse, spousal abuse. You know, suicides have gone up, divorces have gone up. Everything has gotten worse. And trust me, it's not because the 10% that didn't do it. Nope. 10% did not shut down your business. 10% did not do that. The 10% didn't stop you from going to school. They didn't stop you from trying to earn a livelihood to support your family. They didn't put these policies in place, or should I say, these decrees in place. Government did. Well, they did it as a response. Well, as fuckface on Twitter said, well, we don't make policies for the sliver of the community. Oh, yeah, we do.
I was gonna say.
How about gender neutral bathrooms, gender identity, turning that into a protected class? Yeah, we do. Visible minorities are a protected class, even though any one of those communities, Aboriginal, are not a huge majority of the population. Lesbians, not a huge majority of the population, but yet we have laws on the books to say that you cannot do anything regarding this group. So yeah, we carve out our government carves out a lot of discriminatory laws for minorities. So yeah, this wasn't a problem. And it's interesting to see. This wasn't a problem. Oh, when the government said, "Oh, truck drivers are an essential service. Oh, thank our truckers. Thank all our frontline workers." Until it's convenient. Until politically, okay, well, you're just a drain on resources. We don't need you anymore. The election's over. We don't need you. But thanks for coming out, and thanks for thinking that we give a shit. I know. Didn't we pull a fast one on you about? Oh, did you? You thought we gave a shit about you? Oh my God, is your face red? Like, okay. So we have one more here. So there is currently no medical emergency, but you have been cultivating such a condition for 2 years now because of lust for power, budgets, and control. The only emergency now is that you still set policies and hold huge budgets for propaganda and psychological engineering instead of directing them to strengthen the healthcare system. Yep, this emergency must stop. So again, Ehud Qimron, the head of the Department of Microbiology and Immunology at the Tel Aviv University. Not some not some veterinarian doctor. No, this is a guy that is in that realm. And he is saying what you have done is well beyond the scope of dealing with this, to the point that you have destroyed lives.
Yeah. And like literally, yes, 100%, this could be something given to Monsieur Trudeau and everybody else. Like, this is literally, it's the exact same thing going on everywhere. And like you had said, Israel has one of the highest vaccine,
rates.
Thank you. In the world. So you can't be sitting there saying,
they have so many vaccines. Yeah, they have so many. Like, there are people, like, obviously Israel is not as big as Canada, but I think it's something like 97, I think, percent. Don't quote me on that, but it is insanely high.
Wow.
To have their third or even fourth shot. It's an insanely high number. And now people are going, how long are we going to keep getting jerked around?
Yeah.
When you were originally told, yeah, get it and everything goes back to normal. Or, and I bring this up again because these things in a speech, something that is written down, this is what you are addressing the population with. Do this and you get your privileges back. That says a lot more about what our government thinks of our rights, I think, than anything else. You get your privileges back.
Yeah.
You be a good little girl, you be a good little boy, and you get a cookie after dinner. That's a privilege.
Cookie?
You get an extra hour of television. All you have to do is snitch on your neighbor, and we'll give you a cookie.
Hold on. If I do both my neighbors, do I get 2 cookies?
No, you only get 1.
Oh, fuck that shit. I'm only doing 1 then.
We're a government entity. We don't have endless funding. We're not just going to tax you more. It's like you're literally you're paying for your own oppression. That is what I find incredible. You are funding your own oppression.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So, all right, with that, I got to get the fuck out of here. I have to go save the world.
1 truckload at a time, baby.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening. I hope that you have a good week so far. And we will catch you guys again on Friday. Again, you can check us out on YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Getter. Yeah, that's right. We're on Getter now. So yeah, check us out anywhere. Everything will be listed in the description box below, along with all the receipts from everything we've talked about today. So have a fantastic evening, everybody, and thanks for showing up. Okay, bye.